Right, so our model is ready. What we're going to do next is work on our user interface. So what I'm going to do is select my viewcontroller.swift file and just hit delete on it and move to trash because we're not going to use this file anymore. And let's move to our storyboard. And by default here we have one view already available to us. We just deleted the view controller that controls this view. So let's create a new one. So Command N is going to be Coco Touch class this time. Click next. I'm going to call mine weather view controller, and it's going to be subclass of UI view controller, and language will be Swift. So let's create next. We create this. And then now we can move to our main storyboard here, and I need to set the view controller that controls this class to my new weather view controller here. So once this is done, we're going to start building our user interface. So what we want to do in our application is that we want to have one view, and we can just scroll left and right for different cities. So we're not going to create different views for every city we have, because every user may have multiple cities or may have just the current location weather, and we don't want to keep all these in different screens because we don't know how many they will be. So we'll have one screen with a scroll view inside of it, and then the views in our scroll view will be switched for every city. So let's get a scroll view here. I'm going to drag a scroll view out. Also, I'm going to select my view here. I want to make the background to a dark gray color. Actually, it's too dark. Let's make it light gray. Yeah. And let's also switch this to be an iPhone. What's this? An iPhone. Yeah, let's do the XS Max. So we have our user interface in iPhone XS Max. Right, so I'm going to drag my scroll view here all the way up. So we are using our blue guidelines. And the good thing about using the blue guidelines, it makes it extremely easier when we set our auto layout constraints, because these blue guidelines will automatically help us to do that. And then we are going to need the bottom part, which is going to be, let's scroll down. This is going to be a toolbar. So I will drag a toolbar here. And let's select our toolbar, and background color, I'm going to set this to a, let's put this also light gray. And let's bring our scroll view all the way down so it touches our tab bar here. Not tab bar, our toolbar item. So we select our toolbar item first, and we're going to set auto layout constraints. And the easiest way is just clicking on this add new constraint button, and we want to have 0 on the left and right, and at the bottom we add 3 constraints. And then we can select our scroll view here, and again we can tap this, and we want to have 0 points all around. Now it's at 44 because it's just a bit down than our toolbar here. And what I'm going to do is to add the 3 constraints first and move this little bit up. And now we can add our constraint to be 0 at the bottom as well. So you can see now we have all blue around, so our constraints are set. And the same thing we have for our toolbar here, all blue constraints. So it means everything will work properly when we set this on our runtime. But what we want to do is to move this button to the right hand side. And the way we're going to do it, we can actually use this flexible space bar button item, which will just push our button to other way. But before we do that, we want to have something else in our bar button item, and this is a page control. So I drag a page control and I will put it in my bar button bar item, but I want to put it before my button here. So we have our page control in our toolbar, and then we have our button. But in my UI, I want to have the page control in the middle and my button on the right side. So the way we are going to do that is to use our flexible bar spaces here. So I'm dragging one flexible space before my toolbar, before my page control here. So now everything is pushed to the right side. And then I will drag another one between my two user interface objects. So it's the button and the page control. So now if you can see, my page control is in the middle. So we have one flexible bar here, page control, another flexible bar, and our button here. So the button, I'm going to just select this, and instead of custom, it's going to be an add. So we have a plus sign there. And my bar page control, I want to change the tint to be white. And let's see why my background here is not set properly. All right, I need to change the tint color to light and the background to be default here. And while we are here, let's fix our button as well to be the tint white. So this will be our user interface for our WeatherView controller. And what we need to do in order for it to work is to do our connections. And there are two ways we can open our assistant inspector here, so we can drag from our user interface and do our connections. Let's first make some space on top, and I'm going to control and drag from my scroll view and call this, how we are going to call this, weather scroll view. Let's just call it scroll view. Hit connect, and then we need to connect our, where is it? Our plus button. Actually, no, plus button we are not going to connect at all. We are going to connect only our page control. So I drag my page control here, and it's going to be again outlet, and I'm going to call this page control. And hit, let's change the type, your bar button item. All right, let's click connect. I think I connected the wrong thing here because we need to have a page control. So I'm going to delete this, but since we delete that, we want to select our bar button item here, which is our page control now. I think we connected something wrong before. So I'm selecting different items and checking if there are any connections. I can see this one has a connection, so we need to get rid of this. Otherwise, on a runtime, we will get an error. So I'm going to, instead of UI bar button item that I connected, I need to select my page control. And let's connect it here and call this page control. And let's hit enter. And we no longer need our assistant editor, so I can close this and I can open my WeatherView controller, and my Xcode crashed.